Oh, so, I wanted to talk a little bit about everything that's going on. Jesus, the riots and police brutality and all of those things at the moment. It's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. It's very touchy for me as well. So I want to make sure anything that I say in this video, I word it as correctly as I possibly can. Again, I have the mouth of a truck driver, so if I do say anything that is kind of like, people, if anybody feels like I'm like I'm just not agreeing with the protesters or whatever, that's not what it is. But I will say this: I agree. First of all, protesting is awesome. Protesting is something that we as Americans have the right to do, and I'm even for like rioting, as at some point when you really feel like you're not being heard. Fuck that shit. Sometimes you have to do things, in order to get people to listen, and I completely understand that. What my issue is people actually messing up their own neighborhoods. Like that is something I don't understand. I don't get that. Like you're messing up your own neighborhood. Why don't you go to Nancy Pelosi's neighborhood and mess up her neighborhood? Why don't you go to Kristen Gillibrand's neighborhood? And my thing is like, I understand you want change, and we all want change. But my thing is like, why don't you go to your legislators and your congressmen and your senators' houses and your mayor's houses and your governor mansions? Why aren't these things being done? We're messing up our own neighborhoods, and honestly, this is what they want us to do. This is why they're like, oh yeah, protest and riot and this, that, and the third. But do it in your neighborhood. Don't come to our neighborhood, and we don't want that. We don't want any part of that. I find that very, very interesting, and I find it very, very hard. Like I'm devastated that people are like really falling into this. And again, I'm not saying not to protest. I'm not saying to not have your voices be heard. I'm not even saying not to riot or whatever the case may be. I'm saying don't do it in your own neighborhood. Because what is that going to do? That's not going to do anything. In my neighborhood, I'm going to be 110% honest, and I know people were mad about what Trina said about people acting like animals or whatever. In my neighborhood, that's what it looked like, because I was in my neighborhood the whole day. Wasn't one protester, was not one protester in my neighborhood. And I was walking up and down my block, not even my block, up and down the neighborhood. I walked 5.5 miles that day, and I can tell you there was not one protester where I was at. As soon as we got a text message talking about there was a curfew at 11 o'clock, oh my God, there was riots here, riots there. The helicopters were out, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, how are people saying this was a protest? These were 13, 14, 15-year-olds. They weren't grown-ups. They were not, and I'm not saying you have to be a grown-up to be a protester, or even a grown-up to understand what's going on. But my thing is like, do you really understand what's going on? Like, do you really get it? Do you understand it? Because honestly, you didn't have a sign. You weren't even screaming out like stop brutality or like anything that made it seem as if you were a protester or you were against police brutality. Nobody here did that. No, not one person did that. They lit stores on fire. They fucked up 2 pharmacies where I live that people get the insulin from. And it's not even about the money at this point. It's not even about looting like whatever, like a TV or whatever. These are pharmacies. People get their prescriptions there. People get their medicine from these places. So you mean to tell me you have people destroying pharmacies because honestly what they want is the drugs that are in the pharmacy so they can sell them out in the street. Let's be 110% honest about that. Nobody want to talk about that. They want to take that Oxycodone and that Adderall, whatever the case may be, and sell it on the block. That's what they do. That's what they did when they when they ransacked that pharmacy, those pharmacies. That's what they did. That's what they did. Because ain't no reason for you to hit up a pharmacy. None. 2 pharmacies. Again, people get the insulin from there. People get their their blood pressure medication from there. People get their medicine from there. And you mean to tell me that's what you want to hit up? You want to hit up a pharmacy where people get their freaking prescriptions from? Are you serious right now? Why didn't you go to Jose Serrano's house? The congressman who's in charge of District 15 here in the Bronx. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you go to AOC's house? Why didn't you do that? I don't understand. Or her neighborhood. Why didn't you do that? Kristen Gillibrand, the senator of New York? Why Chuck Schumer? These are all things I don't understand. I don't get these things. And again, I'm not saying it's not good to protest. That's not what I'm saying at all. But in my neighborhood, where I live, that's not what I saw. That is not what I saw. That's not what I heard. That's not what I saw. That's not what was out there. And the thing is, people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the shit that's happening. They just want to say, oh my God, protesters, if you're not for protesters, if you're not for the rioting and the looting, then, you're against, they're against us or whatever. And I'm like, dude, that's not what it is. It's not that I'm against anybody. Again, you have the right to fucking protest and you have the right to do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, at least don't fuck up your own neighborhood. These places are actually giving the people in your neighborhoods jobs. They're giving the people in your neighborhood jobs. And you want to fuck that up. Why? You don't even know why. Because you're 13, 14, 15 years old. That's why. They were mad because they had a curfew. Point blank and period. That's what frustrates me. Had they done this because it was an actual protest, if they were protesters outside and this happened, that's something completely different. Then I'd be like, you know what, it may be wrong, but like at least it wasn't just for the drugs or whatever the case may be in the drugstore. Like it was literally that. It was literally 2 drugstores and a regular bodega. That's what it was. And a hair salon, a hair supply store. That's what it was. That's what it was. But again, you talk about that, and you're the wrong one. You're the racist. You're the one who you're against minorities, and you're against your own people. And it's like, my dude, I'm not against my own people. But at the end of the day, what are you fighting for? What is it? Like, honestly, do you know what you're fighting for? Because I can tell you what I'm fighting for. I can tell you 110% what I'm fighting for. Police brutality needs to stop. Racial profiling needs to stop. These killing innocent black people need to stop. Point blank, period. But in my neighborhood, what I saw, that's not what was happening at all. At all. So let me put that out there. And I'm not saying that that's not what's happening in every other state. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying here, that's not what was happening. And y'all don't want to talk about that because all of a sudden, oh my God, again, you're not for protesting, you're against minorities, this, that, and the third. And at the end of the day, are you even informed about what's going on in your district? Are you informed? Do you know who your senators are? Do you know who your congressmen are? Do you know who the people are in your district who can make change? Do you know who your AG is? Like, I don't get this. I don't get this. Are you even research? Are you doing the necessary research to give you the information that you need in order to get the change that you want? Like, are people doing that? I don't get it, because again, 13, 14, 15-year-olds are throwing bricks at police cars, are fucking with the police officers. But at the same time, when some shit goes out, who do you call? You call the police. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Do you not call the police? Of course you call the police. And I'm not going to sit here and say that all police officers are bad or all police officers are good or whatever the case may be. I get that. Again, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't need to stop. I'm saying don't fuck up your own neighborhood. Why is that so wrong to say? I don't understand that. Why is saying don't fuck up your own neighborhood? Why is that wrong to say? I don't get why that's wrong to say. And again, what's going to happen? What's going to happen, guys? This all comes back on who are you going to pick for your senator? Who are you going to pick for your congressman? Do you even know who's running for Congress in your district? In my district, I know who's running for Congress. I know who my top Democratic leader, people who are in lead are. It's Ruben Diaz and it's Richie Torres. Those are the 2 people who are being talked about in my district. I'm running for Richie Torres. Like, I know who's running in my district. I know who can make change. Do you? Do you? That's the thing. Do you know who can make? Do you know who's running? Are you gonna actually vote? Because honestly, the president can't do everything. Like, everybody's like, oh, we have to vote Trump out of office. Trump out of office. Don't worry so much about Trump. Yes, I get it. You don't want Trump to be president. But if your whole Congress is full with Democrats and the Senate is full with Democrats, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. I don't understand this. And again, you guys are trading in one racist for another racist. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Like, I need for somebody to help me understand, because I don't get it. I don't get it. And then it's like, you're settling, but then you're tired of settling, but then you're still settling. I don't get that. I don't get that. Then somebody like me comes out and actually lays out the facts and says what it is. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I should not be doing that. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a DL Trump supporter. First of all, I'm not a DL Trump supporter. And if I were a Trump supporter, I would be a fucking Trump supporter. I would be like, I like Trump because this, that, and the third. I don't like Trump. But I don't like Biden either. But again, my thing is, do you know who can make change in your district? Do you know who can make change? Do you know who's running for Congress? Do you know these things? Like, these are the things that I don't understand. Are you being informed? Are you taking the time out of your day to sit there? Like, you know what? What is my district? People don't know what district they're under. People don't know. Do people know their district? Who represents them? A lot of people don't know, and that's the problem. That is the problem. It starts with us. Because we keep voting Democrats into office, and they have these powerful roles. But what are they doing for us? That's our fault. That's our fault. You know why? Because a lot of the times we pick people who just look like us. We don't know what their platform is. We don't know what they stand for, but they look like us. So for us, that's comfortable. But they have people they have to answer to as well. And trust me, their people do not look like us. And that's the problem. Because their people do not look like us, they have to answer to those people up there, and they have to gain our trust. And because they look like us, it's easier for them to get into our heads. That's what it is. And nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to be like, oh my God, it's Trump's fault, it's Trump's fault. It's actually not Trump's fault that all of this happened. I'm going to be honest, because this shit has been happening for years. For years. Since 1993, since that crime bill came, these things have been happening for a very, very long time. So for people to just sit there and act like, oh my God, it's all Trump's fault. It's really not Trump's fault. It's really not. It's not. And if you actually want to break it down, it's the Democratic Party's fault for cheating in 2016 and having Hillary Clinton be the nominee. That's when everything broke out. Because they cheated. People knew they cheated. And then they still wanted people to vote for her. That's the Democratic Party's fault. Can't nobody blame anybody but the Democratic Party. That's what it is. And yet they may not have done that this year. They played it way more smarter this year, but they still fucked up this year too. So now they have Joe Biden, who has sexual allegation charges against him. Then you have Trump, who has sexual allegation charges against him. And these are the two people that we have to choose. Because they both have sexual allegation charges on them. Whether you believe Tara Reid or not, and I don't understand how you cannot believe Tara Reid, but you can believe Donald Trump's accusers. But for some reason, you just choose not to believe Tara Reid. I don't know why you just don't believe her. Even though she has a lot of information and a lot of detail. But you just don't want to believe her because why? He's a Democrat. That's why. That is why you don't want to believe Tara Reid. But at the end of the day, they're both sexual assault. They both have sexual assault allegations surrounding them. They both do. And yes, Donald Trump is a racist, and I completely agree with that. But Joe Biden co-authored a crime bill that specifically targeted black people and brown people. Okay? He came up with that bill. He co-authored that bill. So yes, Trump is a racist, but Joe Biden came up with a crime bill that targeted black people and brown people. So what the fuck is the difference, guys? What the fuck is the difference? What is the difference? Trump is sitting there trying to start wars with different countries. Yes, Joe Biden was for the Iraq war. He was for the Iraq war. Joe Biden, under the Obama administration, kicked 5.1 million people out of their homes to bail out the big banks. So, I don't get it. And yes, Trump has no fucking idea what he's doing when it comes down to the medical field, when it comes down to health insurance and things like that. Yes, he has no idea what the fuck he's doing. None at all. And ain't nobody in his administration gonna help him because they just as dumb as he is. But let's look at the Obama administration and what they did under Obamacare. There was a lot of fucked up things with Obamacare. People could sit there and say, oh yeah, but there was some good things. But if you didn't have health insurance, when you did your taxes, your ass was asked up because you were fined. Even though they told you that wasn't going to happen. Obama said you're not gonna have suffer any penalties if you don't have any if you don't have health insurance. Next thing you know, you're fine if you don't have health insurance. At least Trump kept his word and said, okay, if you don't have health insurance, you don't have health insurance, but you're not gonna get fined. At least Trump kept his word on that. Obama did not. Sorry to say it like that. Sorry. It's a fucked up situation, but we created it because we keep letting it happen. We're okay with settling. And then people like me come out and we say these things and we're wrong. Nobody wants to pay us any attention. Nobody wants to pay us any attention. But at the end of the day, it's true. What part of what I said wasn't true? If you do the research, what part of Joe Biden's record is not true? Everything I said was true. Same thing I said with Trump's record. It's true. Everything is true. Yes, we have to make the decision. In November, we have to sit there and say, is it going to be Obama or is it going to be Trump for most people? And why? You have a third party running. You have Howie Hawkins as a third party candidate running. Why not vote for him? And you may even have Jesse Ventura running. Who knows? Because he's actually, people in the Green Party, a lot of independents want Jesse to run. And it's not even to win. It's just to simply be on that debate stage. Because if he could get 10% of the vote, he would be on that debate stage against Joe Biden and against Trump. So it's not just a two-party system. We are creating that because we are not doing our research. We are letting the Democratic Party and the Republican Party take over everything. We are doing that. We can't stop that. We're just choosing not to. And for the life of me, I don't know why. I don't know why we wouldn't want more. I don't understand it. I don't get it, guys. Like, we can make a difference. We can make a difference. Anyway, I'm sorry this video was longer than I expected it to be, but I do hope you guys have a great night. Hope you guys are staying healthy. Be safe out there, guys. Wear your mask. Wear gloves. Do what you gotta do. And I hope you guys have a great night, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.